Sunday morning. Calling in is Senator Ron Johnson from the great state of Wisconsin. Senator Johnson, good to talk to you again. I know we talked on Wednesday, but good to talk to you again always. Tell us what's on your mind on a Sunday morning.
Good morning, John. Well, there are many things on my mind. The lurch on the part of the Democrats and their party towards socialism. They've unmasked themselves. And you really have to sit back and take a look at the last few decades and how has this all come about? The Democrats have always been, I think, communists and socialists at heart, but now they're openly so. Mamdani is just the most recent version, but now you have all these other radically left individuals winning primaries and espousing socialism. And the only way they can get away with that, realizing you have 100 years of history where communism, socialism has destroyed nations, destroyed communities, led to tyranny, led to the murder of millions of the citizens of those countries that employ it. Venezuela, Cuba, Soviet Union. How could anybody embrace it? Well, the way they embrace it is because the radical left has infiltrated every institution in this country, religious, educational, the media. And so we don't have honest brokers educating the public in terms of the dangers of communism and socialism. And of course, the siren song and getting something for free, right? Just tax that other guy. Tax those wealthy people. Don't recognize the fact that it's those wealthy people that invest their money into the economy, into businesses, create jobs, create prosperity. Again, if socialism fails, we know it fails, and it's on the rise. That should concern all of us.
Understood. There's so many things going on with fraud around the country. Has there been any substantial fraud in Wisconsin?
I'm sure there is. They're starting to cover it. We actually last week had Nick Shirley and James O'Keefe testify before the Homeland Security Committee. Did a great job. And let's face it, Nick Shirley, independent journalist, 24, 25-year-old. I'll call him a kid. I'm an old dude. Unbelievable what he did, what he unleashed with that just brilliant approach, where he just takes a video camera and goes to these leering centers, child care centers, and uncovers just rampant fraud. The hospice centers. A third of all hospice centers were located in Los Angeles. And so Dr. Oz, when he caught wind of that, defunded 400 of them. Not one complained, which speaks volumes. Obviously, they're all fraudulent, or they would have complained. So I think fraud, we're just scratching the surface of it. We need to figure out, by using basic business principles, right? I mean, John, you're a business guy. You would never let that kind of fraud occur in your business because you wouldn't be in business. So, there are some pretty simple things we need to do. Now, the problem is we'll get no Democrat support. Not one Democrat senator, other than the ranking member Peters, and he just basically came to rant and denigrate Nick Shirley, but not one of the Democrat senators showed up and asked questions at the hearing. They were completely incurious, not curious at all about what the federal government can do to combat fraud. Speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that's volumes and volumes. Hey, I've been told that our $2 trillion deficit, that if we straightened out the fraud, that the deficit might be less than maybe less than $1 trillion.
Yeah, I mean, we had LexisNexis. I didn't realize they did this kind of research. The CEO came in at a subcommittee hearing a few months ago. He claims the level of fraud is $1 trillion per year. But the lowest estimate is from GAO, which is $250 billion. So there's your range. My guess, it could even be more than $1 trillion. Particularly when you uncover how rampant, how easy it is to defraud the federal government, it's because all this money is flowing from the federal government into the states. They don't have skin in the game. It's just free federal money. The politicians love taking credit for free health care, free child care, free transportation services. So they don't check eligibility. They just don't care. They just take credit for spending money that we don't have, that's mortgaged our kids' future. That has to end.
Well, I mean, it's crazy what's going on. What else keeps you up at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Well, I certainly appreciated the tough decision President Trump made at reducing the threat. And Iran is an existential threat to America. With the nuclear weapon, with their missile technology, they could plant a barge off the the coast and international waters, lob up a missile, detonate a high-altitude nuclear blast, it would wipe out our electrical grid. And so anybody critical of the war in Iran recognize, first of all, that's not a war of our choosing. The Ayatollahs declared war on us 47 years ago, and the fact that they wouldn't give up their nuclear weapon program, I, for one, appreciate what President Trump has done, the tough decision he made. I appreciate the fact that he's incredibly reluctant to put boots on the ground. I don't want that happening. So hopefully we will bomb them to a point of weakness where the Iranian people can rise up, take control of their own country, and rejoin the world, as a free nation, as a peace-loving nation, as opposed to the largest state sponsor of terror.
Understood, and you're 100% right. Senator Ron Johnson, the great state of Wisconsin, I want to thank you so much for coming on this Sunday morning. And anytime you have something on your chest that the American people should know, please feel free to call or text WABC and myself. And thank you so much for coming on today.
You have a great day. Take care.
Thank you.